I don't know how to say this. We not only have a huge show today, we have a huge show tomorrow. Kevin Durant on the program. Cannot wait. How about a quarterback in the NFC West? How about the team that's leading the NFC West? Geno Smith of the Seahawks, one of the toughest players who never gets talked about as one of the toughest players, going up against a guy we all think is really tough, and Josh Allen and the Bills. We're going to get to talk to Geno today. Also, oh my God, what a show. Pass rushing legend Jared Allen should be a Hall of Famer. We'll get into that. He was doing the skull. Looks terrifying to me to do that. We're going to get into that over in London, but they got the Rams tonight, hours from now on Thursday Night Football. Get your butts over to FanDuel Sportsbook and get your parlays in. Have your fun with the props that Gronk and I put on. And, oh my God, we got to get to this because we have the voice, a legend, the voice of Sunday Night Football, soon to be the voice of basketball NBA action, Mike Tirico popping by. He's on the call for Niners, Cowboys. Oh, boys, oh, boys, oh, boys. I don't think I've had enough coffee for this program. Good morning. Thanks for joining us, whether you're watching on FanDuel TV or MSG Network or YouTube, one of the many places you can take in our show. What an entertaining one. Mike Tirico, Jared Allen, soon to be, hopefully, Hall of Famer. And the fact that this is all happening, Geno Smith popping by the program ahead of their big matchup against the Bills. What a show and what a slate, guys. It all kicks off tonight. Get over to FanDuel Sportsbook and do your thing. But we are approaching the midway of the season. It makes me so sad. Potential Rookie of the Year showdown. Let's go, Caleb. They're heading to Washington to take on the Commanders. Daniels, Jaden, absent from practice yesterday. Don't love that, but they're doing the right thing, and they looked great with Marcus Mariota. So the line has moved. The Bears now 2.5-point faves as a result of said Jaden situation. Dolphins, let's take a look here. 3.5-point faves over the Cardinals. Tua went through his first practice yesterday. He's back. Reviews very positive. So we'll find out very soon if he's officially cleared to play. Things trending toward a return there and what feels like an early playoff game on Sunday night in Santa Clara. The Niners, 4.5-point favorites over the Cowboys. Cowboys 3-3, Niners 3-4. Okay, loser goes yikes. Loser goes woof into the night. Okay, that is not what you need headed into Halloween week. That is scary. Loser is in trouble, and we will talk about that. Mike Tirico in a moment. We talked to Mike Tirico on the show before, but it's usually about ponies and horses and derby and majesty and all that stuff and juleps. And no, we're talking football with our maybe a little basketball. Tried to watch basketball last night. Hamilton, we're going to bring you in here. I know I'm going to keep it tight. Can't. And I'm here on the West Coast. Game starting at 10 p.m. Hard.
Yeah.
Hard to. Also, there's just too many games. Too many games, so none of them matter. None of them really matter. So then I'm watching and I'm like, oh, nobody cares who won last night because you've got 17 more games before the end of October. There's NBA. I'm trying. There's nothing like the NFL. Anyway,
it's true. Every game matters so much. But a big night for our guy KD. Got to give him some love.
Oh my gosh, he'll be on the show tomorrow. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait to talk to him about this. They've got the Lakers, I believe, tomorrow night. So we're going to have to discuss that with him and not talk about Bronny and LeBron because we're KD people over here. I don't know. I think they're all friends. It's fine. Okay, let's dig into what's happening hours from now. We got Vikings and Rams here in L.A. The Rams are getting a boost tonight. They've got the return of still Ram, Cooper Kupp. They might even get Puka back, we're hearing. That's sort of a surprise. He was listed as questionable for this one. Trade rumors continue to swirl. Cooper was asked yesterday if he's hearing the rumblings, and here's what the bearded one had to say.
I'm aware of it, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm going to be where my feet are. That's all I know. I have a job to do here. For 7.5 years, I've been an LA Ram, and I've taken that approach every single day. And, whatever happens outside of that, I got control what I can control. And right now, that means being the best LA Ram that I can be, and I'm going to continue to do that.
I mean, he's a Super Bowl champion in that time. He's proven himself over and over. A kid who wore ankle weights in high school under his jeans to put on muscle. Looks like that. He's all Rams geared out. He's rivaling Weddle with the beard. Is this the last time we're going to see Cooper Kupp in a Rams uni? I wonder. Is this the kind of game that determines his fate here? If the Rams beat the Vikings, they're right back in the mix. They're 3-4. Hard to say, that they would sell pieces then if they win, at least for another week. If they lose, they fall to 2-5. Different story. Tonight, not only a huge game for the NFL season, it could go a long way in determining what does this Rams team look like. Gronk said if they, they get rid of him, it's just they don't feel like they have a chance this year. If they lose tonight, they might be itching in that direction with Les Snead trying to secure what the future of that squad looks like. Now, the Steelers, the Commanders, the Lions, the Bucks, a Sophie swap with the Chargers, all been rumored as a possible landing spot for Cooper. So I'm sure we're all paying close attention. And more than that, just reveling in what a great story he is, what an inspiration he is, and just what a great player he's been for that organization and the NFL as a whole. I'll be watching that tonight. Taking your comments, guys, on YouTube, on Twitter, and the like Geno Smith is on the show. Mike Tirico is on the show. Jared Allen is on the show. Big one for Minnesota, speaking of Jared Allen. They are going to try to bounce back from their first loss of the season. Chance to say, we are here, we are asserting ourselves atop the NFC, or if they lose, this is so crazy. And this is why I love the NFL. It's everything matters so much. If they lose tonight, do y'all understand that there's a chance they could even be out of a playoff spot by the time Week 8 is over? Out of a playoff spot, poof, undefeated season. Everyone's like, wild to think about that after the hot 5-0 start. But that is the state of the hyper-competitive NFC and that crazy NFC North right now. Sam Darnold, he talked to the media. He was asked about playing at home in LA for the first time in front of fans, making the 2024 primetime debut, and trying to avoid, and I hope they do, a second loss in 5 days. Here's what he had to say.
Kind of the beauty of a short week is you don't have a ton of time to think about, narratives or anything like that that's going on around the media, so we just gotta, like I keep saying, we gotta do the best we can to just get our game plan in, own it, and move forward from there.
I mean, he is leading the 6th-ranked offense. We look at the way Aaron Jones has been playing, how dominant the defense has been. I think we see the Vikings bounce back this week. 2.5-point faves tonight at SoFi on the road. Big one for them, and I think we see a big game out of Sam. I took the overs in our prop thing with Gronk. I feel good about that. Sam, he's in LA, homecoming. I remember him telling me once he likes Fat Sal's. He's going to go get that sub today. I haven't had it. I hear it's delicious. Maybe he'll get that, and he'll get the extra juice in front of his hometown or a crowd that means a lot to him. And if you missed it, this was the prop a shot that we did yesterday. I'm winning. That's why I want to show it to you, because I'm the best. 7-4. Gronk, pick it up, man. Do your thing. I said Kyron, over 71.5 rushing yards. Sam Darnold to throw for 230.5 passing yards. And Kyron Williams, I doubled back. Anytime touchdown score. Let's go. Gronk said Justin Jefferson, okay, over 83.5 receiving yards. That makes sense. He says Stafford, over 235.5 passing yards. Probably a lot of that to Cooper Kupp. And Justin Jefferson as his anytime touchdown score. This looks great to me. I think I'll do better than him because I'm just better at this than Gronk is. FanDuel offering customers a 30% profit boost token to use. This is cool. Thank you, FanDuel. You can use it on any wager. It's just for tonight. Vikings, Rams. Rob and I went through the props we liked. You saw them, but you can do whatever you want. FanDuel Sportsbook, you can boost any bet you like, minus 200 odds or longer for TNF. Okay, we're going to take a short break here. Like I said, we got Geno Smith against the Bills. We got Jared Allen just against the Hall of Fame. And then we have Mike Tirico, friend of all, on the program. We'll be back. Awesome. Yeah, Hamilton, I can't with the NBA. I can't.
We're 1 day and you're out.
I can't believe Marcin Gortat isn't a starting center for the Polish Hammer. You're my English Hammer, American Hammer.
There you go. Yeah.
I thought he was still starting for the Suns. I mean, people would be shocked to know how little I know about basketball, I think.
Yeah.
We could do a comprehension test. It would be truly revelational. Who knows? I'm not Mike Tirico. I don't know how to speak as eloquently.
Did you see that shot from KD last night, though?
No.
Game time shot to send it to OT, and they won.
No, because want to know why? It's what were you up at 1 in the morning?
I looked this morning when I got up.
Going to the I don't understand. I don't understand these night owls that can handle the NBA so late. Yeah. Tirico's going to have to do it. Those East Coast, but luckily the Suns, my adopted team now, they're a West Coast team, which is great. Was the Intuit Dome, was it were we going into, different dimensions, full Matrix, Minority Report? What was it like?
Pretty much. It's an interesting looking place. It really is.
That owner is something else.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of
Yeah,
him.
is.
He did like a whole thing with Malika, and I was like, Malika, he has a lot of energy. That banner guy has a lot of energy. I liked it. What else did I want to tell you? I had another. Oh, I can't remember. I mean, this Cowboys-Niners game. Gotta get. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. So fun. Okay. Aren't you jealous? Are you jealous, Richard? Aren't you jealous? Are you jealous? Jared Allen. Do we want to agitate Jared Allen?
I feel like we always end up there with him. There's a
I don't
lot of
know.
stuff for
He's
him to
kind-
be agitated about, honestly. There's
The election.
he's
Man.
the Hall of Fame's got to make things right. I'll just say that.
I feel like
It's
every
time.
time we've had Jared on, he doesn't take the bait. I don't think you're wrong. I think he's just
Yeah.
like,
No, I'll take the bait for him. He needs to be in.
I want to know what he thinks about trades. Like, does he? Myles Garrett get out of Cleveland? Is he? Telling Max to leave? Don't worry, Raiders. I don't want Max to leave you. Calm down. Raiders fans are very sensitive right now, and I understand. All right. My next guest, the voice of Sunday Night Football. I could not be more excited about this. Lead NBC Olympics host. He joins Chris Collinsworth in the booth for Cowboys 49ers. Yes, on Sunday, 8:20 p.m. Eastern. It's on NBC. It's on Peacock. Please welcome, hello, Mr. Syracuse, NBC Sports, Mike Tirico.
Hello, friend. Good to see you, Kay. How you doing?
I'm so full of joy that you're on the show. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. Glad to see you. Glad you're doing well. Yeah, I'm around the house running errands, doing those before you leave kind of things.
Yeah.
A big Syracuse game tonight against Pittsburgh. You know, there is life outside of the Big Ten and the SEC in college football, and we got 6-0 and 5-1 in the ACC. So looking forward to a fun game tonight.
I have nothing to add to that, but I'm rooting for you always, Tirico. I don't know how you balance it all. I was just talking about, I can't even embrace the NBA right now, but you, and then I think of you and I'm watching you on these Olympic sets, just nailing it live with all these different things. And you've got the Olympics in Paris, was just incredible. Sunday Night Football Triple Crown coverage coming up. Life's pretty good for Mike Tirico.
It is. It's busy, but it's great. The Olympics were awesome. I can't tell you how much fun it was to be a part of that. We got a chance, Kay, a couple of weeks ago to go to the White House, and the president, as usual, no matter who's in office, they honor the athletes from Team USA. The Olympians and Paralympians were there, about 400 of them. And just to revisit with the athletes and just hear how Paris was so transformational and life-changing for them. It was really cool to catch up with everyone and discuss that. And I reflect back and really can comfortably say it was the most rewarding professional event I've been a part of. What our NBC team, 3,000 people in Paris in the U.S. did, what the athletes did, the host setting at Paris was, and just has us all jazzed for L.A. coming up in 4 years. We have Milan in between with the Winter Games, which is going to be really cool. But L.A. in 28 has a chance to be very special, and the pressure's on because Paris crushed it, but I'm sure L.A. will live up to it.
If you're thinking about this year as a broadcaster, was it the best year for you in your career if you had to rank them? I can't imagine.
Right there with 2 years ago, because 2 years ago was hosting the Super Bowl pregame, which I had always hoped to do at some point, but you never know if you're going to get the chance to do it, right? It depends on contracts and who's where and what job you're doing at that point. But to get the chance to host the Super Bowl pregame and the Olympics in China in the same few weeks and really in the same day, too, because right after we got off the podium with Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford and Stan Kroenke and all the people from the Rams, we jumped right onto the field and then hosted the Olympics that night, our coverage of the games from China. It was really a cool experience that probably never had again in my life. So that was right up there. But this year has been fabulous. Sunday night's off to a great start. And we got the Niners and Cowboys, like you said, this week. So it's been great. You really pinch yourself every once in a while and go, I'm still doing what I wanted to do when I was a 20-year-old in college, which is really fun.
You make it look so easy. So I'll ask you, with any of these experiences, even just the ones from this past year, you've got NBA coming up. We're excited about that. When's the last time you felt really challenged? Where it's like, or what would be maybe the most challenging call or part of a production for even the great Mike Tirico?
Oh, well, thanks for saying that. It's, the Olympics were a real challenge.
Yeah.
I think every day it's a challenge. It's not just the volume of athletes, it's the international flavor to it. We live in very challenged, difficult, and uncomfortable times. Coming to sports is almost a refuge for many, but there are still political issues that you've got to dive into and cover. And I think, especially China a couple of years ago, COVID, the Chinese government restrictions on things. I mean, we traveled around. They would not let us outside. It was during COVID, and we had to stay in these bubbles. So there was a bubble at the International Broadcast Center, a bubble at the hotel, a bubble at the venues, and we couldn't go outside. So I looked out my window for 2+ weeks at a McCafe right across the street, and I couldn't go over and get a little coffee, a little mocha, a little anything. All you could do is just see it. So I think that was a reminder of how challenging the Olympic stage can be, because at any point you can insult a country. You can insult people from a country. You have to be really careful around that. So I'd say the night in, night out of the Olympics is probably the most challenging thing that's on my docket right now. But I love it. I'm a political science major. In addition to being a broadcast journalism major in college at Syracuse and a big sports fan. So like to have to delve into that stuff every once in a while, it kind of scratches that news itch for me a little bit. But that's the one I think that on a regular basis you're going, okay, we survived that one. We didn't get anybody mad at us. Let's try to do the same tomorrow.
For those of you playing the Syracuse drinking game with Mike Tirico this morning, he said it about 9 times, so everyone's drunk. Please drive safely to work as we continue to talk to you, an absolute legend. Let's talk about Jets Steelers for a little bit. And I want to talk about the politics. That was a nice segue you gave me to launch into some politics, but I'm not going to. But you and Chris, you talked on the broadcast about sitting down with Aaron Rodgers and then Davante Adams. They're reunited. You had these pre-production meetings that I would just die for a glimpse into. What stood out to you about Aaron and just where he is right now? Because he's someone you can really sense the energy from when you have a little chat.
Yeah, I've enjoyed covering Aaron over the years. We got to call his first start when I was doing Monday Night in 2008. His first start for the Packers was against the Vikings. It was in Lambeau, and I'll never forget sitting in the network booth in Lambeau and looking down, and you saw all these Favre jerseys. They were still in the Favre world. They didn't want to let go of that for themselves. So it was just really a fascinating night. So watching Aaron for all these years as a starter has been great to have a front row seat for 2, sometimes 3 Rodgers production meetings / starts per season. So Aaron was really happy when we saw him. He was not commensurate in terms of emotion with a quarterback who's here to win a championship or nothing else on a 3-game losing streak, which they were. Now it's 4. He was really happy to have Davante, and I think that connection's going to work. I really do. And I think it's going to help Garrett Wilson. I think it's going to help Breece Hall. I think it's going to help Braylon Allen. I think it's going to help that entire offense. Allen Lazard, who was having a good year, he's going to become a heck of a number 3 receiver in this group. I think if they stay healthy, they're going to do some good things. The defensive side of the ball is having some issues right now. I think they'll get that fixed. The question is it too far? Because they've lost margin for error. If you're sitting here with 2 wins at this point in the season, at 2-5, you're kind of looking at maybe 8-2 is what you're going to need to get in the AFC. So that leaves very little margin of error with short weeks and good teams and all the stuff that comes with it. You have to go to Buffalo, Houston on a short week, all still on their schedule, plus some other good games. So I'm worried if they have enough runway to do it. But I do think the connection of Rodgers and Davante is real. When you watch people who work together, when their connection is real and it makes them better, that's a real one. And seeing both of them, I got that sense when we visited with them last Saturday.
Yeah, Davante visits our show every week. I hope that we're hearing more about how he's been a vocal leader during that game. I'm loving seeing it. I'm loving seeing it. I love watching the broadcast, and obviously, I wait for the graphic animations of whatever your amazing production staff is going to come up with. I think this week they were like running towards each other. There's always something incredible. Let's give credit to the people who come up with those ideas, and I would love to know when they pitch them to you. Are you like, are you serious?
1,000%. So our producer, Rob Hyland, our director, Drew Esikoff, they lead a meeting during the week and our creative team comes up with them. And I love them too, because I'll see the storyboards, the ideas late in the week and just laugh. And, and it's our audio too. It's the music. They picked up Peaches and Herb reunited from the late 70s.
That's what it was.
And there's this picture of Aaron and Devontae around the water in Central Park, sitting there with ice cream cones. And then in the background, because they're the second pair to get reunited that have had 50 touchdowns with another team, the other were Brady and Gronk. And there's Brady and Gronk in the back, just kind of hanging out and waving to them. It's just having fun with facts, right? And hey, that's the way I think a lot of us studied when we were in school at Syracuse. There's 10. You just found a fun way to remember stuff, right? And if it sticks with you and it's fun, we enjoy it. And I'm glad you mentioned our team, because I love our Sunday Night Football team. We have so much fun doing this week in, week out. It's not just me and Chris and Melissa and Rob and Drew, who I mentioned, but it's our whole production team. I mean, there's laughs, there's side jokes, there's kidding each other. Your school loses, we'll make sure somebody mentions it to you. It's fun. And Kay, that's what makes 20 weeks on the road together so much fun. You end up spending half your year with or half the week for those 20 weeks of the year with the same people. And that's what is, I think, the joy for us. And hopefully that comes out in the broadcast and the product and the fun that we have.
I love, that's incredibly said. It's truly fun to watch, and I wait for it. I have a cult following with what do these guys come up with? And the way that you and Chris obviously bounce off of each other, sometimes you don't know what to say. It's so incredible. It is must-see television, of course. And I can't believe, I was just reading a little birdie telling me about Sunday Night Basketball starting up after you called the Super Bowl in 2026. We're returning to hoops. I love this for you.
Getting back to basketball, it was funny. I was watching the game last night. I heard you in the break talking about the Clippers. I was watching the Intuit Dome, and I'm thinking, wow, a year from now, we'll be back at it with the NBA. And that started for me, in 2002, I guess, was my first NBA season when ESPN got the package for the first time. So I did probably, something in the neighborhood of 300 NBA games, called 5 or 6 NBA finals on the radio with Huey Brown and the late, great Dr. Jack Ramsey. Hosted NBA finals those first few years. Got the awkward picture of Tim Duncan standing next to me, about 1.5 feet taller than me, trying to interview him. What are you saying up there, right? So I'm excited to watch the league and get back to it. And just was thinking about that last night watching the games.
Of course you were watching the games. I don't know, you should teach a masterclass on time management skills and being able to pick it all up. I want to ask you, before we get into this Cowboys-Niners matchup, if you and Chris could pick one celebrity. I was thinking about Paris, so many celebrities, and Snoop, and the Alex Coopers of the world. If you could pick one celebrity, not from Paris, but in general, that you would do 4 quarters, the entire game in the booth with, 3-man booth with, you, Chris, and who would it be?
Wow, for the whole game. So that's an interesting one, because you're talking somebody. But you have to be talking somebody who really loves and gets football. So I'm going to give you one. I'll give you one. Somebody who, honestly, if they were in the booth, I think they'd have a good time and they'd add to the game a little bit. And I'm not talking any football players, no ex-athletes, right?
No.
Darius Rucker would be great.
Let's hear it. Why?
He's a legit hardcore Dolphins fan, raised on the Dolphins of the 70s and the 80s, follows college football on a regular basis, follows the NFL, loves it, has a passion for it, and that celebrity space with music and all the stuff, all the people he's come across. I think he would come in and for 4 quarters kind of know how to do the deal and go through it with us. I think if you're just talking about who could add to the broadcast some, just randomly, top of mind, Darius comes to mind. Kenny Chesney comes to mind too.
Country singers.
Chesney's a huge, they sing about football, but they love their football. Having been around and met both of them, those 2 guys would be pretty cool. McConaughey, obviously, because he loves football. There's a bunch of people who've shown their love of football over the years. But I'd say Rucker would be good.
Rucker singing Wagon Wheel. Just Chris chiming in. I see it.
Exactly.
Okay.
The game gets bad in the 3rd quarter. It's like 24-point deficit. Got the guitar there. You can start playing. So that would be pretty good.
Rob Hyland's like, don't get any ideas, Tirico. We're not making a storyboard about this.
Okay, I lived the celebrity guest in the booth the first couple of years of Monday Night Football in 2006 and 2007. Trust me, I'm really good with just Chris. It's a different world. It's a different space. We had Barkley in there. We had Stallone in there. We had Jimmy Kimmel in there, which was actually one of the funnier nights.
That would be fun.
We had Jimmy Kimmel in Seattle one night who looked at me, Kornheiser, and Theismann. He said, "Hey, Mike. Hey, Tony. Hey, Joe. How's your leg?" It's like, oh my God, no! It's just don't start. Jimmy was Jimmy. He was Jimmy the whole night. It was a trip. It was funny. But
Jimmy was Jimmy.
I'm good. I'm good with
good.
just Chris.
We're
Promise
good.
you.
That's all you need. And I actually have my showrunner was at that game. He used to work on Kimmel, and he's chiming in like, I remember that. That was insane.
Yes, it was.
Well, maybe we can make another memory this week. Maybe just between you and Chris. This Sunday night big matchup. It's Niners. It's Cowboys. Both teams underachievers on expectations 7 weeks in. Both desperate for a win. I'm scared of who loses this game. What are you looking at? What are you most excited about?
You said the line, Kay, that I've been thinking about the last couple of days, because if you look at this game on the schedule and you think, wow, blockbuster, could have number one seed implications down the line, head-to-head tiebreaker. Now it might be the tiebreaker for who gets in the playoffs. But we're early. San Francisco has started 3-4 in a recent iteration and made it to the conference championship. So there's no reason to panic just yet. But there is concern. You take the offensive player of the year, you take 2,000 scrimmage yards and almost a couple of dozen touchdowns out of your lineup. And that's what you do without Christian McCaffrey. And then multiply that by the other people who've been missing along the way here. Now Ayuk is out for the rest of the season, obviously. That's a significant impact on Brock Purdy at quarterback, on the entirety of the team. There have been different faces and guys on the defensive side of the ball as well. So it's a San Francisco team that's not what we've seen the last 3 or 4 years. On the Dallas side, wow, this offense just has not brought anything to the table running the football, period. They're last in the league running the football in terms of yards per game. And if they don't balance it a little bit, it's going to be hard to see Dak and CeeDee Lamb be at their best. But I will caution, when they hit the bye last year, they came out and they were a much better offensive team, a much more efficient offensive team. Washington and Philadelphia have not run away in the NFC East. So although every loss in Dallas is a 5-star alarm and a panic, it's not over yet for either team. Both of these teams could very, very, very easily, right around Thanksgiving, be tied for their division lead, right in their division mix. But lose another game here, and it gets a little bit steeper of a climb. So this is a very important game for a lot different reasons than we thought it was going to be coming into this week.
You're the best. Do you understand? You are the best.
You're so sweet.
I cannot wait to hear and listen and see the animation, whatever. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth in the booth for Cowboys-Niners pivotal game. Lots of implications for just this week, their respective divisions, the NFC, the NFL at large. It is this Sunday night, huge one, 8:20 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. I got to ask you, I know you're Mike from Queens. Who we got? Yankees, Dodgers.
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. So I grew up a Mets fan. I outgrew that. It's like an allergy outgrow at some point in life. I outgrew that. People were on me after the Jets game when I said the Mets and the Jets disappointed a lot of folks in the New York area, and they're used to being disappointed by the Mets and Jets because the Mets got eliminated on Sunday night and the Jets lost. And people were getting like, hey, gang, I had season tickets for both teams at Shea Stadium. I grew up in that place, so I was that disappointed kid for 20 years. So I say it from experience. I'm not trying to pick on y'all. I never really disliked the Yankees, even though I grew up a Mets fan, and just had great respect for their run. I'd like to see the Dodgers and Ohtani win the World Series, simply because I think it could be that international platform jump that baseball needs something right now to be more than a regional sport. I don't love the fact that the highest payroll teams make it to the World Series this year. I was excited that the Tigers, the team I root for here in Michigan, that they had a great run this year to get to the playoffs and beat the Astros in the series. But I think a Dodger win globally could do a lot for baseball because of Ohtani and all the eyes and all the attention that'll be on. I hope both he and Judge have really good series, but I think the Dodgers I would take as a slight little, man, it may be good for baseball overall if that happens. Either way, winning World Series for baseball, flagship franchises, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be hopefully 6 or 7 really good games for my buddy Joe Davis and the guys at Fox who do a great job.
Mike, you just did all that work to win back New Yorkers who were mad at you, and just to say the Dodgers are going to win, and I love that for you. Mike Tirico, thank you.
Kay, you know who's in New York, right?
What? Okay, and we're drunk. We're drunk on the show. Jared Allen coming up. Geno Smith stopping by the show. Loaded one. Thank you to a legend. On to another legend. 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro with a mulleted one. He's got plates on his wall. Let's go! Should we start this now? Do you want to do this now? What do you think? Should we start now? No. Okay. But is he okay? I hope he's okay. Okay, good. I'm excited to talk to him. Will you slate me really quick? My friend? No problem. Can you slate me really quick? No. Can you slate me? Literally the opposite. Not only a 5-time Pro Bowler, a 4-time All-Pro. He was inducted into the London Games Ring of Honor. Jared Allen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm great. When I watched that, and I watched it live, I was up at 3 a.m. here in California. Listen, you went up against Adrian Peterson in practice. That had to be tough. You played against the likes of Trent Williams. Was that not one of the most terrifying things to do? I know it's not the first time you've done it, but leading the cadence of that skull thing, I would be mortified.
It's terrible, too, because the feedback from the video screen doing it live made it look like I was off beat. So you had half of the stadium on my cadence and the other half of the stadium hitting the cadence on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
So I promise everybody I was on beat with old Victor over there. So, no, it's, you get used to. You know what actually is scarier is beating the drum in Kansas City.
Really?
Got you up at the top of the stadium. And you're trying to make sure you're beating the drum properly on beat. You actually have to hit the drum, the skull thing, you're just clapping. So
no, the skull thing is it's like awkward. The cadence is, I would just be, and it's like
it's weird.
And
it's not from my era.
Yeah.
I remember when I first came back and they had me do it, I was like, this is ridiculous. But the fans love it. I'm all for it, I guess. But I got no emotional tie to the skull because it wasn't there when I was there. So there's some new fad they picked up.
Jared, it must be really tough to be so beloved by two fan bases in the way that you are. Like what?
They haven't thrown tomatoes at me yet, so it's working out all right.
It is kind of amazing. People, there's this balance going on, like it's trade season, right? And things are happening, moves are being made, and I can tell the players are like, I just don't want to be hated. Like, I just want to be. You're a good example of like you can be loved anywhere. Just be the best at what you do.
Yeah, I think you just got to be authentic, right? I think the fans appreciate what you're authentic, and for me, I was never leaving because of anything that had to do with, really with football on the field stuff, right? It was all business stuff, front office disagreements and stuff like that. So I think, for me, again, I'm just always honest. I don't try to play it, play spin on anything. I think if you tell people, you shoot people straight, you tell them how you feel, they see that you're real, you're authentic, and I think they appreciate that. And then, carrying that play over to the field, I think the best way to win fans' hearts is just by giving it all out there and letting them know that you truly appreciate what you do for a living, and you truly appreciate them spending their hard-earned money to come watch you play a game.
You mentioned the Chiefs there, so I'm going to ask you. I know like the offense gets all the juice, and I could ask you about Hopkins and all of that, but there's this idea that even though Spags gets a lot of love, that this is the most underrated unit in the NFL. Is there anything more underrated than the Chiefs defense?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more underrated stuff out there. When you're 6-0, you're not underrated. Everybody's looking at you. I think they like playing the underrated card. They got some of the best defensive players in the league, so they're not. I think they could be better. They could be better if they would stop flagging, Chris Jones every time he hits the quarterback. But I think they're playing good. I'm excited to see their defense being a consistent part of why they're winning. I think for the first couple of years, when you had Mahomes, the defense kind of I don't ever want to say it was a hindrance, but you never know. They were hot or cold, right? They were kind of up and down. You get into these shootouts, so I think it's now is what's making them such a fun team to watch and more dynamic team is that they're balanced, right? You're not, Mahomes can have a mediocre game and you can still go out there and win a tough game.
Well said. The New York Times told me you're taking a break from curling, which I don't love, but it means you must be taking more time watching football.
No. Trying to rope more, actually. I was going to do this interview from my horse on horseback. I said, try to rope more.
Get out there. What are we doing? I got the plates are cute and all, but come on.
I got a text that said I couldn't do it from my phone, so I jumped in the house, grabbed my dad's wife's dad. I got the horses tied up outside. We're supposed to be out there roping right now, but that's how important the show is for me. I sacrificed.
Are you on a computer? Can we see the horses from where you are? Or is it like 9,000 acres away? Take us for a walk. Take us for a little walk here. How many horses do you have, and what the heck is roping?
Oh, I got two. I have two. My dad and his wife got two. See if I can. Here, I'll step outside real quick so you can see.
Yeah, let's go. What is roping? Please explain.
Team rope. So I team rope. So hold on. Let's see if you can see. Can you see them over there tied up?
Let's see. Oh yeah, they're over there. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
this is very upsetting.
We got them saddled up. Yeah, right before we got out, I was like, I'll just do it on the horseback. So today we're just roping the dummy. So it's hot heels. So I attach it to the back of the Ranger. Yeah. My dad will drive in circles. So I'll take one horse, my head horse. I'll rope the horns on the dummy. There we go. Get you back centered up in camera here. Let's get it all. I might as well work in production as well. And then I'll grab my heel horse, and then my dad will pull the dummy, and I'll rope the back and I'll rope the legs of the dummy. So in team roping, you have a head horse and a heel horse. So you have two people. One ropes the horns and turns the steer, and the other one ropes the back legs, and then you face each other and they stop the clock on it. Do you like the show Yellowstone and Kevin Costner and that whole thing, or do you just hate it? You do. You like it. I was trying to be an extra. I wanted to be one of the Cowboys because I legit ride horses. I grew up on a reining cutting horse ranch. My dad actually rode and trained. Like there's one scene in one of the seasons where he's trying to buy a reining horse, right? And they're doing all these sliding stops. And my dad used to ride with guys like Bobby Avila and train with them and stuff like that. So my dad, and I was trying to get on the show. I'm like, come on, what's up?
We're going to rectify this, obviously. Kevin Costner isn't even in it anymore, so I feel like they can just write a new character for the last season or the next. Like, let's go.
I feel like I'd be an insanely good cowboy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you weren't a cowboy. You were a chief. You were a Viking. A couple other things.
Yes.
That would have made sense. How far are you from the nearest Starbucks?
I don't do Starbucks.
How far are you from civilization?
Oh, my house in town. I'm probably one right around the corner. I got 6 acres down, and I'm up at our farmhouse, right? I'm on a ranch. I'm probably 10, 15 miles from that.
Yeah, I can't go over the Kevin Costner. I mean, I talk about Kevin Costner.
I'm trying to get further and further away from reality and people. Yeah, if I had my druthers, I'd be in the middle of Montana on like 2,000 acres or more, and no one see me ever.
Yes, I'm obsessed with this. We're going to take a TV break, but we're keeping you through the break because we are live on YouTube. We're going to get this content out. We will be right back with the Cowboy, the should-be Cowboy. I can't believe we didn't. I mean, I literally talk about Kevin Costner multiple times a day on this. I have a huge crush on him. So we need to make Kevin.
Who doesn't?
Kevin lives in Aspen, though. I don't take you as like an Aspen, like, isn't that crazy that I know where he lives? Crazy.
One time I've been to Aspen, they were not ready for white trash people like myself up there.
Tell me the story.
I saw a buddy of mine has a place in Aspen. I was out elk hunting not too far away, and it was his birthday. And he was like, "Hey, I'm having a little gathering in Aspen." And so I was like, "All right, me and my buddy were out elk hunting. We drove into Aspen, so you can imagine I'm in camo. I got like elk blood on me, and I walk into this bar restaurant. And there's this guy laying on like a sofa. I mean, it's like from a movie. He was like laying on this like ottoman with a glass of Chardonnay and like fur. And I was just like, where the heck am I at? This is I'm in camo, and this is a different part of Aspen or a different part of Colorado than I'm experiencing. And so went in there. That was funny. And then we went to dinner, and we ordered some wine. And no joke, because of the way I was dressed, the guy didn't think I could afford the bottle of wine. And so he was like, "Sir, you realize this bottle is like X amount of dollars." I was like, "Oh, cool, whatever. Like, just keep them coming." And we're celebrating a birthday here. And it was really funny. We got into it with the sommelier, and then, once we realized we could pay the bill, they tried to suck up and kiss butt later. But we kind of just dominated Aspen from. Yeah.
Jared, that is your pretty woman. That was your big mistake. Yeah, huge.
And then we went to an after place after the dinner. So my buddy's like, "Oh, we got to go to this club I'm a member of." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Yeah. And they wouldn't let me in because of the way I was dressed. They were. Yeah, I got totally Pretty Woman in Aspen.
I need to ask you at least one football freaking question, but this has been amazing as always. We were in our meeting this morning, 6 a.m. local time, and we're talking about your 2011 season. And I've looked at it before, I remember it, of course, but that's the year, just to remind the world, 22 sacks, we talked about it, should have been 23, we know. You finished second in DPOY voting that year, despite having more tackles, despite having more sacks and Suggs, who won it. Does anything piss you off more than this? Sorry to say.
I love Suggs. We were at the 101 awards when we were doing that, like NFC versus AFC defensive player, and he was like, "Bro, I don't know how you didn't get it." Yeah, I was annoyed by that one because that season I thought for sure I was going to have it, but we were 3-13 and they were 13-3 and went to the playoffs. And I'm like, isn't this supposed to be an individual award? So doing it at 3-13 is probably harder than playing with a lead. I was playing from behind most of the time. So yeah, I really thought I had a chance to win it that year. I was a little disappointed I didn't win Defensive Player of the Year that year. And to be honest, my year in 2009 was amazing as well. And I think I came in like second or third in the voting that year. And then I watched guys, have multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards, and I'm like, it's that similar to that one time. But no, I was disappointed because that was one thing I always wanted to capture that I never got. I never got my Defensive Player of the Year, and I felt like I had a pretty solid run in the NFL. I probably could have earned one of those. Maybe I should have worked a little harder, I guess. Who knows?
Harder than 8. You had 8 more sacks, 9 more quarterback hits and Suggs that year. Case closed. Hey, Jared, we appreciate you. Go enjoy roping. I learned something new today.
Will do. Thank you.
Goodbye to Jared Allen, an absolute legend, soon to be Hall of Famer, or I'm going to lose my mind and quit my job. Here, we got to sit down with the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks in preparation for their game against the Bills. Me and Geno Smith right now. Thank you, Jared Allen and Mike Tirico. Geno, you're always ready when anyone is. You are on fire right now. Movement in the pocket, the improvising, the touch you are putting on these passes, my friend. New system. You have the weapons. What is the single biggest reason this is working so well?
Oh man, that's tough to put it on just one single reason. I think if it had to be one, I would say hard work. I think all the guys are just working hard and really working in unison, man. We're just continuing to lock in together. Try to work all 11 as one, really play, we call it 12 as one around here. Coach McDonald calls it 12 as one. So, including our fan base, we want to be just all together. And I think that's something that's helping us all, be at our best.
Love seeing that. You just sat down and you said you had a walkthrough and that you're sweating. I don't know that I've ever heard a player say that before.
Yeah, we were kind of getting after it, man. We, the season's starting to, ramp up. So, guys are, my energy's up, everyone's energy's up, everyone's getting excited. So, got a little bit of perspiration.
Geno, you're getting pressured. We did the math, the research. You're getting pressured at the highest rate in the league right now. Yet you are leading the league in passing. Math that for me. How is that possible?
I would say, I think, when you pass the ball a lot, I mean, obviously it gives defenders and defensive lines a chance to really rush the quarterback. I mean, that's the reality. And so, we've had some injuries that have, kind of hurt us a little bit. And I think this past week's game, man, I thought our O-line, they protected really well. And I think for the most part, they've been doing a great job. Obviously with the pressure numbers, you're going to be affected as a quarterback, but you still got to be able to go out there and execute. And so for me, it's just about, doing the right thing. I've been moving a little bit more than normal, been using my legs a little bit more than normal. I even had a 30-some yard run. So just trying to, maneuver in the pocket, give myself some extra time. And then we know we got great weapons on the outside. They're going to get open. So if I can buy time back there and, give it a shot, man, those guys are going to get open and make plays.
Do you know my favorite thing about you is that you are so tough. It is a crazy thing to watch. You're welcome. It's my favorite thing is how unfazed you are, no matter how much pressure you're facing. How important is toughness to you?
It's everything to me. Being tough, not just physically, but mentally tough. How you respond to adversity, that's something that, I've always talked about. And I think that's kind of been my career in essence. And so just being able to respond to adversity and always keeping a positive mindset, always thinking, the best is going to happen and I'm going to figure it out. Never pointing the finger. I always look inward and say, what do I got to do to be better? And so that's something that's helping me continue to improve even as I'm, entering the latter years of my career. I'm still getting better. And so as long as I can just go out there and be tough mentally and physically, I think I'll give myself a shot.
Now, hold on. Latter years of your career. I heard you want to play till 2033.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but I mean, that's I'm in year 12 now. So I think we're about past the halfway mark, if that's the case.
Why did you say that? Can you imagine playing in 2023? I mean, the rules for protecting quarterbacks, you wouldn't have to be tough at all.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping they, maybe a new CBA, you know what I'm saying? There might be some things going on in 8 years from now, but that's my goal. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to keep working towards it and let God handle the rest.
Yeah, we gotta protect you for that to happen. And hopefully, offensive lines can grow and change. So hopefully that happens. I also heard rumor has that you would like to potentially be a coach after that, that is a very sick pup mentality. That is like, there's a very, very rare group of people who want that for themselves. Why?
I love the game. The game has blessed me. I've been playing this game, since I was a little boy. And no matter, what I do in life, no matter where I go, I'm always thinking about football. I'm always trying to, find that edge. And that's something I just enjoy. I've never had a job in my life, man. I've never had to punch a clock. I've been playing football my entire life, and it's been a blessing. It's been so fun. So to be able to pass the game on to some younger guys and, to still compete as a coach, I think that's something I probably would do.
All right, coach, let's do this. Let's coach this up because you might be missing DK this weekend against the Bills. He's been on fire, great weapon. How do you coach that? Who steps up? Is it more Kenneth? Is it more JSN?
Everybody's got to step up, man. When you don't have a guy like that, I don't know if he's playing or he's not. We'll see on game day. But if he is out there, we know what he brings to the table. If he's not, we got guys that are willing to step up, and I look forward to those guys taking advantage of all the opportunities.
What's one thing about McDonald's coaching style that you would emulate in your own career?
Yeah, just how stoic he is. Like you watch him on the sideline, man, he expects big plays. If I make a throw or if the defense goes out there and make a big play, he's not jumping around. We had Pete who was just like so charismatic, and he would be just jumping up and down with the players and stuff like that. And, he would just be losing his mind, going crazy out there. Then you look at Mike and big play happens and he's just like, okay, and then moves on to the next one. And I think that's the mindset, for me personally. I think I'm just that kind of guy, I'm just like, just expecting to make big plays. I throw a touchdown. You don't see me really like jumping up and down and stuff. I'm just looking forward to the next one.
You got a toughie on the other side at quarterback, known for tough. Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Josh is a really great quarterback, and he brings a lot to the table. And so anytime you go up against those great quarterbacks, which is like every week in this league, you got to score points. You want to give your defense a lead and allow those guys to go out there and fly around and pin their ears back. But, with Josh, man, they're never going to be out of the game. Even if you're scoring, you're up, a couple scores, you got to keep applying pressure because he's the type of player that can, make a few big plays and they're right back in the game. So, appreciate, Josh and what he brings to the table. He's a guy that I really enjoy. I'm a big fan of his, and I love watching him play. But hopefully, he does, terrible this week, and we get the win.
I love that. You mentioned that everybody's got to step up for DK, which I love. Can we give some love to Kenneth Walker and his, his run, DK's block on Sunday in that win over the Falcons? A one-handed block to get Kenneth into the end zone is pretty nice.
Yeah, that guy, DK, he's a menace, man. I mean, the things that he does out there on the field, the way that he approaches the game, and he's out there having fun. He's like a big bully out there just trying to, block guys. He's physical. And when you got guys like Ken Walker who can make magic out there with the ball in his hands, I'm out there trying to throw blocks. We're all out there trying to get out there and get some blocks in so the Ken can score.
Speaking of bullies, you have a new teammate, Ernest Jones. Now, I believe he sacked you the last time you two on the field. How excited are you to have him?
Extremely excited. Obviously, we're trading Baker, who is a great player, and he's been a great teammate, and we respect what he's done here. Hopefully he goes out there and tears it up in Tennessee. But yeah, getting Ernest, man, we were able to, play against each other the past couple of years, and I know what he brings to the table. I think he's going to do a great job in this system with this team, with this defense, and really looking forward to his leadership and just his ability to go out there and fly around and make plays.
I look forward to your outfits on game day. I'm not going to lie. I usually don't like talking about that kind of stuff, but I do think it matters. I think when you look good, you feel good, you play. I think it matters.
Of course.
Are you the best dressed quarterback in the league?
Player, not just quarterback.
Love that. What does it do for you? Why does it matter?
Man, it's like you said, I grew up in the 90s. Watching Deion Sanders, prime time, you look good, you feel good, you play good. I mean, that's the way it is. And I'm, I wake up in the morning, I put my clothes on with that excellence. I walk with that excellence. I just have that mindset. And I think it's anything you do is how you do everything, right? Everything is how you do anything. So, I just want to be the same way all the time, no matter if it's on or off the field.
Geno, I feel like I'm in church right now. Just getting spiritually motivated. Should we give love to Jeremiah Smith? Should we?
We got to. We have to. We have to. Man, hey, JJ, shoot, man, I've been watching you since a little boy, man. I feel like it's like watching my own son play out there at times, man. Your dad, my uncle raised me. I remember playing football in the neighborhood with him. And so to see all the things that you're doing right now, you're only scratching the surface of what you're going to be. You're one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the world. You're going to be one of the best in the
For those who don't follow the college game, it's Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State receiver, truly one of the most exciting receivers in the country. Now, he's only 18 years old. If you play, let's carry the one, do the math. If you play for 20 years, there's a world where you're going to LeBron and Bronny this. You just said you're like a dad to him. You two could do this.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. You know, I remember, you know, when he was in Little League and, you know, I had him out to training camp with the Chargers. I had their team out there and, you know, man, like I was thinking about it back then, like, man, one day he's going to grow up and maybe we'll get a shot to play again. And that's been my motivation. And so hopefully it happens.
Just a couple more for you. Cause every morning I have to wake up and talk about the Jets. I know it's been a lot. First of all, I can't believe it's been like 10 years. Can you?
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
I know that there's not a lot of connective tissue there, but because they're this huge topic of conversation, you're having so much success. Sam's having so much success. He just faced them. He beat them. You know, some of the struggles that they're having, everyone wants to point to it's this, it's that, it's the Jets, it's a curse, it's all these things. What is the biggest thing? If you can be honest now, and it's long enough that you can, what's the biggest thing that was working against you when you were there?
What was working against me? I would say I had some self-inflicted wounds. I had some things that, you know, I needed to mature a little bit when I was there. I'll own that. I'll also say that, you know, just where we were as a team, you know, the year before I got there, they struggled a little bit. Got there, my rookie season, we actually missed the playoffs by one game. So it wasn't like all bad. You know, there was a lot of positives there. And I just think, man, it's a huge media market. You know, if you're winning, it's the best thing in the world. If you're not winning, they're just going to pile it on. I mean, that's just the way it is in New York. You got to be prepared for it. You got to be tough. Talk about toughness, right? Having thick skin. You got to block it out. Don't worry about it. It's not you. I remember Jay-Z told me this. It's not you particular. It's the position you're in. So don't take it personally. They don't hate you. It's just you're the quarterback, you know, so you're going to receive the backlash when you don't win. And so that kind of helped me put things in perspective. And, you know, in New York, man, it's the Big Apple. And you know, all you got to do is succeed. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. That's what they say.
Jay-Z told you this?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
But I was with Rock Nation. So.
No, of course. Back then, I'm just trying to remember. It was so long ago. I saw Bryce Young's getting the start. So I look at that and I'm thinking, he's going up against the Broncos. They've been playing lights out on defense. What do you say to a guy like Bryce who's dealing with some of those similar things you did?
Go out there and cut it loose. You know, have no regrets. You know, the thing about getting opportunities is that you don't know when the next one's going to come. And so when you got your opportunity, you got to, you know, kind of grab the bull by the horns and you got to take it and run with it. And so, you know, Bryce is a player who's done so many great things in his life. He should be confident. He should be ready for this moment. Prepare as hard as you can. Work hard throughout the week because your preparation is going to bleed into the game. And then once you get out there on the field, trust your eyes, trust your feet, and cut it loose, man. Have no regrets. Leave it all on the field.
Church of Geno. Cut it loose. Do the same against the Bills. Thank you, Coach.